I guess the flip side of things, if we're talking about offense and winning in a particular way, we could talk about Tennessee
Sure.
and Oklahoma as sort of our number 2 item from this week. Tennessee does get the win on the road in Norman by a 25-15 score in a game that was dictated more by defense
Yeah.
than perhaps many would assume. And in particular, it was the Tennessee defense that stood up in this matchup and I think really asserted its dominance. We talked about that on the preview show that we did on Thursday. It's not a great surprise that Tennessee up front especially would make a serious impact. They were able to force 3 turnovers in this game, 2 of which were fumbles, 1 of which was an interception.
Hmm.
It just felt like for the vast majority of this game, Oklahoma really could not get any traction here. They scored most of their points in the fourth quarter. Until that point, though, had 3 via a field goal very early on, and then it was mostly them getting shut out. It was a lot of Tennessee asserting its will. It was a lot of us, I think, drooling over Nico and how composed he looked, even if the numbers don't necessarily jump off the page.
Right.
Tennessee felt far and away, completely separate from the score, like the better team in this game. They just felt like they
Yes.
were more together. It seemed like they had more playmakers. Their guys were in the right spots. And Nico was just, I thought, super composed, wise beyond his years.
Yeah, even when there was the long stretch where I think it was 22-3 or 19-3, 22, it felt like it could have been 122-3 with
Yeah.
what Oklahoma could not do on offense. And one of the things they could not do was justify keeping Jackson Arnold in as their starting quarterback in this game. He gets benched, I think, a little bit before halftime. It's Michael Hawkins who comes in, another young quarterback. Had more success in kind of pseudo garbage time later on in the game. Nick Anderson was rumored to be coming back in this one for Oklahoma. I don't know if he saw the field, but he didn't catch a ball for Oklahoma in this one. And the story here was, you're right, I think it's defense, because I think Oklahoma's defense is pretty legit. They gave up some big plays.
They're very good. Absolutely. They're very good.
They were pushed around a little bit up front. Dylan Sampson ran nicely. Nico had some time. But I think there's playmakers all over this Oklahoma defense. The Tennessee defense is just better. And the bodies they were rotating in up front, I don't know what the final number was, but deep into this game, I think they were allowing under a yard per rushing attempt. They had fresh legs. They were physical. They were all over the place. And in Nico's first start, it's his first SEC start, correct?
Yeah.
He started the bowl game last year. This is his first SEC game in a tough place to play in Norman at night against this tough defense. I don't think he averaged 10 yards per attempt, but maybe 9 and change yards per attempt. There's very little more you can ask from Nico in this spot. And Tennessee is absolutely an SEC contender. If the defense is going to continue to look like this. Now, Oklahoma's offense is not the test for Tennessee. Oklahoma's offense is in a tough spot. They're beat up. The line's a mess. Quarterback's a mess. I don't see much changing this season given their pretty impossible schedule.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how you come away from this game thinking anything but like Tennessee's act is together.
It's very together, and the writing was on the wall on the Oklahoma side. We've been talking about it for 2 weeks now that there have been hiccups, even in victories. There have been hiccups.
Sure.
It was apparent that this team had some work to do. We talked about it again, the line up front and how things kind of permeated out from there, be it the running game, be it the passing game, be it what they were doing on third downs. In this game, they were 3 of 15 on third downs, right? So it just, all of these things work together on some level, especially if it doesn't seem like your team is organized on one side of the ball. And it doesn't matter how good the defense is, if you're not getting any help on offense, which has been a theme throughout college football for many teams, by the way, if you're not getting any kind of help on offense, it doesn't matter how good the defense is. You're going to find yourself in a situation where you're scoring 15 points against a team that, you know, their defense did hold Tennessee down. To hold Tennessee to 25 points, that's in theory a winnable game. You just got to get more from the offensive side. And if Jackson Arnold is going to look like that out there, it's not really going to go anywhere. There's just no shot. It felt that way the whole game through.
Can I ask you a question as somebody who may or may not have experience rooting for a team with immaculate offseason vibes, big-time expectations from quarterbacks?
Please don't start at this. I'll save the rant for later. I'll save the rant for later.
No. I'm saving Notre Dame for later. This isn't Notre Dame. I'm just being a little bit
Thank
of a
you.
jackass in my preamble. When you put your head in the head of an Oklahoma fan, what are you thinking right now that like we've joined this new conference? The schedule now seems even more difficult. This was an opportunity as like a coming out party that like, yes, it's been a slow start, but we'll get it together with like the big national bright lights and, you know, Herb Street and Fowler in the booth. Like, where is your mind right now if you're a Sooner fan?
I think if I'm a Sooner fan going into this game, the point spread was what, a touchdown in favor of Tennessee, somewhere
If
in that
that, I think
neighborhood.
at kickoff it was like 5.5, 6. Yeah.
Yeah, it came down, but it was apparent that Vegas favored Tennessee. I don't think Oklahoma fans are so much surprised that they would lose this game. I think the surprising bit is how inept it felt.
Yeah.
You know, you said it might as well have been 100-0. It felt that way, and that's the frustrating bit.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of a team, when it's like you want more to happen than you're
Mm-hmm.
seeing on the field, that the vibes just feel like they are dead on arrival. And I got that sense watching this thing that even if they were able to string a few big plays together, they were not going to win this game. Not only were they not the better team in this matchup,
Right.
but their vibes were way off. And I don't know how you fix that, especially with this gauntlet that they've got coming up now with their SEC schedule. To your point, it seems like it may get worse before it gets better because this is a ridiculous schedule. I forget what the number is, how many of the top 10 teams they play
Right.
the remainder of the season. It is not going to get easier, and they're going to need to sort some of this stuff out. Otherwise, 5 losses first year in the SEC is going to leave a bit of a mark for Brent Venables.
I was wondering how long the Jackson Arnold conversation, how long it was going to take to happen. It was like, is this guy it? We've been hoping for this for a couple years
Man,
now almost. And
Dan,
like,
I'm surprised by this. I really am.
do you think he is a driver whose team did not give him a good car? Like that the wheels are assembled improperly, that the system was not programmed correctly, that the strategy for the race is off, that like the engine doesn't have enough of this fluid or that fluid? Do you think it's like how much is on him? Because I watched him and I was just like, this guy at this point in his career, and I don't wish this on. I truly don't. I was just like, I just want to watch great football. That's all I care about with this sport. I was just like, he just does not seem ready for this stage yet.
Yeah,
And that's the nicest way I think I can put it.
it's maybe I overvalued him last year because in key spots last year when Jackson Arnold came in, and this is true, you know this because we put out a call to Oklahoma fans and we were curious to see
Yeah.
what the Oklahoma fan base thought of him in limited action last year. And the thing that I heard back from a multitude of people, the thing that I read all off season was, well, he's going to be a first-time full-time starter.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's obviously going to be some cleanup that he needs to do, but he sees the field really well and he can process the game very quickly.
Yeah.
And that, among other things, was his greatest attribute. Excuse me. You put him in a situation like this, I don't know if it's the line in front of him makes him uncomfortable. I don't know if he doesn't feel like he's got the same playmakers out wide.
He doesn't. They're hurt.
You know, I mean, they are nicked up, and so that stuff obviously plays a factor, but processing be damned. I get the vibes that it's coming at him a little too quick.
It's coming fast. Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of surprising to me because I was really high on this kid maybe until this point in time.